Alright then, guys. Alrighty. Let's close you. I don't need you anymore. Refresh this. Alright. Alrighty guys, welcome back to another stream here today, or be watching this later in the future. Welcome to another video. Hope you guys are doing great and doing wonderful on this day. So today we'll continue what we were doing. I know I said I wasn't going to do another environments kind of focused live stream again, but I'm almost done. I was working on it yesterday and trying to get the issues that we were having in the last live stream, which we were getting duplicated trees every time you were transitioning to a new chunk. So I wanted to get that done, and I did fix some issues with that yesterday, and I think I'm having a good spot to continue to the next part, which should be the final thing for the trees and everything else that I would get in here. And basically, this logic that I created can be done for other environments that will be creating in the future, if I ever do need to do that. So, but the main reason I switched to this part is just to make more performance, because every time I was switching to a new chunk, it will, it will lag just for like a second. And the main idea that I went in this route was to fix that, or at least majority remove most of that lag that was happening there. But cool. I think I have everything done. Let me mute my phone because I'm getting notifications right now, and I don't want any of that right now. I want to be focused today. Focused. All right. I think I got everything else in store. First, we can get started, shall we? We can get started. I'm gonna show you where we can be working exactly what we need to do right now. So let's jump into the game, not the testing, but the actual game. And I can show you one of the issues that I'm having that I need to address. And see what will be the best way to implement this part. So we have all the trees here already, right? Let me get my axe. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me get the axe, because every time I come in here, I have to spawn the axe every single time. What I'm gonna do is just save it. Save. Now I don't have to do that every single time. All right. So now I have this axe, and then when I come to this tree, right, I'll smack it a couple times. And now it's back to doing one. Hold on, let me put my other stuff over here. So now we have tree trunk now. The issue that I'm having is if I was to zoom out, I transition. Remember, this is a tree trunk, right? So if I keep walking in this direction, this should despawn because it's out of bounds. So one more time, and it should despawn. There we go. It's gone. But if I were to come back, you notice that it comes back as a tree again. So I will need to be able to keep track of that, so that when it comes to spawning them again, he knows which one to spawn. And that is one of the issues that we'll need to address. I know, and the last time that we were doing this stuff, we were chopping down trees, we were trying to figure out which tree to spawn next. If you remember that, I think it was in the last live stream, I believe. We were working on making the tree transition to a new to the next stage, right? Here, so on axe complete, we keep all of this information in here that we're doing and determining what stage it is in, depending how many hits we're doing. We added all this logic that's in here, and we have this node here, environment dictionary, that gets saved. So I have a getter function that I can use to grab some of this information already, since it's already saved and everything. All I have to do is call that getter function and be able to determine what stage it is in and be able to spawn it. So what we need to do in here is so that when we spawn this tree at this location, we got the world position, we got an ID. Problem is that wondering if I want to do it outside or before. The good thing about it is that I don't need to put that code anywhere else if I were to put it inside this function. So keep it clean and I don't have to do that elsewhere. Problem is it passes an ID already. And this is not the only place I call spawn tree, right? Final references. I called it in that game manager place that we were in. It should be fine if it hits it here. There's a header file, we're calling it in here, and this is the actual definition. So we could do it in here and then just pass that ID. So let's see. Do I have access to the current ID? Problem is it saves an object. I don't really care about saving the object right now into the dictionary. I don't know if that's gonna because every time it spawns it's gonna have a different ID. So it doesn't matter that this is in here. So this will be like an old object. And it only works during when you're hitting the tree. Because if I save it right now, I close the game, I open it back up, this object doesn't exist anymore. So I can't really depend on this object here. But I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so we have an object ID. And it also tells me the next ID. So what I can do is I can find the stage and determine if it's on full-blown tree or not. I believe stage 2. So if it's a stage 2, then we keep it normal. Spawn the tree. If it's stage 1, then we spawn the trunk. If it's stage 0, then we don't spawn anything there. I think that's the goal right now. So let's get it. Let's get started. I guess it will be, because I'm not calling it elsewhere. I mean, it'll be a good idea to put it in here, but if I were to do it inside this function, then this function is gonna overwrite what I did in here. So I think it'll be better doing it outside. So let's go back to chunk child map. We'll do it in here. So we'll call game manager. Get. And we'll get, or is there something has saved that environment at position? and it's a tile position, so we'll pass in a tile position to it, and this is a boolean, and if it has it, then we want to get it. Okay, save data for environment at tile position. And call it environment save data, I think it's called. Let's see, it's environment size save data. What does it return? What is this? Oh, so this keeps a class. It creates a class from the dictionary. Okay. No, it's fine. I was going to see if we needed a reference function or not. Okay. Should be fine. I think. Not a huge struct. So we'll see. We'll keep that in mind here. So we have this save tree data at this location. And if I go back to that, go back and put it on this side, we have access to the hits stage. What I can do also, we'll go back to this function from dictionary. We can keep track of the object ID. Int object. Put an ID here. Let's do -1. 1. What else do I need to? And we have the stage already. So the only thing we need is this one. The problem is we have to tweak some of this stuff around because we got to check to see if it includes it. Save data that has object dash ID. And if so, we then grab that object ID from here. Oh, we got to do the same thing for the atlas because objects do not have atlas unless they're a tile. So we gotta clean this up a little bit. Do the same thing for this other one too. Not next. Save data that has copy this, put it back on top. All of them should have stage, all should have hits and timestamps, so I should be good to go here. Cool. Well, now that I have that, I can come back here. So if it has saved data, then we'll keep it, and I'll leave it here. And then here we determine the stage that we're in. So if the save tree data, what's this? Tree data stage. If it's stage 2, we probably want to have a variable for this for trees in the future. So if it's stage 2, then we do it normally. We spawn it, whatever, it's a normal tree, whatever it is, right? Else, if save data the stage equals 1, we need to get the next stage ID, which I actually have access to. I need to add it in here. Should just put this, what do I want to do here? Ideally, I still want to do the same thing, just that the ID will be different. The ID that I pass in. I will need to update this ID with the next one that I have. What's the name of it? If I volatiles, world items. Where is my on axe? I should just look it up instead. On axe complete. Here it is. I want to find this. Okay, there we go. And say if saved data that has this, then we'll keep track of it. And it's this next element ID. It's already in here, so might as well just retrieve it from there. All right, so we should have access to that now. This just gets the environmental data at index. It gives me the world environment, which I actually don't need. What I can do instead of making this a const already, I might need to retrieve it again. But give me an error if it's not a const and just save it like that. Doesn't look like it. So I keep it the same. If it's a tree, if it's this one, we want to retrieve it again by using that new ID that we generated from save tree data, which is the next object ID, and then it spawns it accordingly. And I need to change that ID actually to be the next object ID as well. So this is your ID now. Or we can just leave it as is. Hold on. Keep it as ID and just put it in here on top. There we go. We keep the scene path, we keep it the same. And then it goes through here. Looks to be good. It looks fine. I'll spawn tree with the scene path. Cool. Well, let's test it out then, shall we? As long as these two things are correct, then it should be fine. Alright, let's get in here then. I didn't build it yet. Oh, it's still building. There we go. Alright, let's go into the game, shall we? The main goal here is to smack this tree again. And I still have my axe, which is great. I don't have to get it all over again like before. Oh, there we go. So I'm gonna zoom out just so we can see that. Yeah, it is gone. So wait for this to do despawn. Alright, let's see if it comes back or not. If it doesn't, then we'll... Ooh, it never even showed itself. Okay. And let's look at why it didn't show itself in here. It should be the only one that has data in it. Let's go through it and see why it didn't spawn. Wait, hold on. I just want to make sure I set this correctly. Where is my Chantal map? Let's go back down. Double checking here again before I put a breakpoint here. We check to see if it has data at that tile position. We grab that. If it's a stage 2, which it's not, it will go down to here. It should have been stage 1. And it should have something here. So I'm assuming that maybe these things don't have anything in it. Maybe? So let's find out. Let's put a breakpoint there. Do a scan. No, that's not a build. I want to attach a process. Select. Attach. Should be the only one triggering this area here. Okay, you know what? Let's put it on top of here. Just double check. Alright. So we're getting something. Next line, what does this have? Yeah, see, it doesn't have anything. It has an object ID. Why doesn't it have the next element ID? I'm in stage 1, but it doesn't have a next object ID, even though it should have the next object ID. Alright, let's figure that out then. Why did it not have an next item ID when I smacked it? I mean, I have access to it in here, so why would I have access to it? Maybe I never saved. Wait, what? Wait, when do I set that? When do I set this? Oh, I see. Is using this one game environment. Oh, okay. I thought it was coming from the save data. No, okay, so it's not coming from here then. I thought it was coming from here. I see the problemo. Alright. So what we gotta do then, go back here. We'll need to grab it first and then grab the next, and it is in the dictionary, right? Whatever that array was gonna be. What is that element ID here? That's right. So we grab that, save it, we grab the new updated environment data, and then we go through here. Okay, that should technically work. Technically. Alright. Let's build it. Ooh, build. Let's run it again. Let's run it. Alright, so we'll try again. Smack that tree, make it to a tree trunk. Get closer, 1, 2, 3. Close to a tree trunk. And then zoom out, and let's do the same thing. It should be wait for it to go away. Okay, so it's gone. If I come back, fingers crossed, there should be a tree trunk. Let's go. It's a tree trunk now. Sweet. Alright, so let's smack it. We'll smack a couple of guys in here. Let's make this one go away. Oh, it doesn't go away. Okay, so that's a bug here. Gotta figure out why it doesn't go away. Why wouldn't it go away? Interesting. So I'll need to look into that. Hey, there's duplicated stuff in here. I thought I fixed it. Why is there a duplicated tree in here? I thought I fixed that. Okay, so that's another bug that I have to figure out why it's happening again. I thought I fixed it yesterday. Yeah, see, there's another tree behind it now. Fun. Maybe that's why this one doesn't go away then. I thought I fixed that duplication thing. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out why it came back. Why is there multiples? Is there multiples on this one? Doesn't look like it. Alright, well, something I have to look into for sure. So let's make some. Yeah, see, this is a duplicate tree here again. Why are they spawning on top of each other? I'm wondering if okay, there's a duplicate tree again here. Okay, good to know. But at least we got that tree here. The other tree that was down here, I smacked it a whole bunch of times, so it was probably gone already, which is why it didn't spawn again. I'm just very confused as to why this other one never. Why just duplicate stuff now again? Cool. So that's the tree trunk again. So it is working. I wonder what these logs are for. I forgot to remove a log or something. Did I? Yeah, I gotta figure out where I put these logs at. But anyway, why are there multiple trees spawning in the same place? The only thing I could think of is that it didn't despawn correctly. Did I stop it? Okay. So let's look at something here. I thought I was done with that. Why are we having multiple trees spawn? Does a multiple trees spawn at the beginning? I didn't try that. Or did it happen when I go to another chunk and come back? Let's load into that. Let's figure it out. Alright, so let's smack some trees in here. So that's gone. Okay, so this is not a duplicate. Alright, so far no duplicates. So let's leave and come back. I think I should have spawned. Yeah, I don't see duplicates in that. No duplicates. So let's zoom out. When does it happen? That is the question. did it happen here? Figure it out. Nope, I don't see anything there. Nope. Doesn't make these go away. I'll come back again. Alright, so let's come back. That one's gone. Alright, so it's a duplicate here now. Okay, so it happens when they go out of your visuals and then it comes back when I come back into the chunk. The question is, why is it doing that? And it's not all of them too, which is weird. It's just a couple of them. Wait, I think I might have a problem. I think I know why. Hold on. So when I save it up top in here, I think the thing that I gotta check for is if this environment node already exists in here. I don't want to re-add that into the list. Okay. I think I know what the problem is. Hold on. Let me just try something just to confirm what I'm thinking of. So right now there won't be any duplicates, right? Let's make them smaller so it's easier to see around here. As you can see, there's no duplicates, none of that. The only time it'll become a duplicate is when the entire chunk goes out of view. So once this chunk disappears, which should happen around about now, so it's gone, right? And then I come back and regenerate this chunk. I actually don't take account for trees that were already spawned in that location. So it will spawn it twice because I'm adding it in the list twice. So what I gotta do is check to see if it's already in the list, you now have a duplicate. Okay. So I gotta check to see if there is one duplicate, because when that entire bigger chunk goes off, it changes, I don't remove any other trees from that list. I can do that too. Do I want to remove that? Or do I want to keep the data? That's going to be a lot of data in that dictionary though, if I were to keep it. Do I want to keep a large dictionary, or do I want to keep that clean? If I want to keep it clean, I'm always removing it. And I gotta remove it on top when we were doing this stuff in the other stream. Where was it at? Was it generate? It's not in here. Oh yeah, it's in here. So when I change to a different chunk, I gotta remove that environment data from there. So remove environment data from 0, 3, and 6 chunks. So the chunk 0 remove, chunk 3 remove, and chunk 6, or this direction if I were to move to the right. Okay. All right. I know I initially did that earlier in one of my live streams, so I deleted the entire thing. So I want to do that same thing here. Question is, trying to figure out how I'll calculate which chunk I am in. So I grab that spatial chunk, grab the environments. Now when I check to see if I have this environment data already, I'm gonna have to like iterate through each one of them and check in to see if that position is there. Unless I, instead of an array, I keep it as a dictionary here. There shouldn't be that many trees in here. Well, we'll go with this route first, and then we'll work for ways to improve it. Because first of all, I'm sure that this is the issue, but I just wanted to double check first. So what we can do is, actually before you even, it should already be in here, so I don't have to calculate anything. So before I even added, I want to iterate through all of these, which kind of sucks, but I will want to double check to see if it's in here. It should be K. We'll see if it's in here. Size. Iterate through all of these arrays. Go dictionary. Environment. Dictionary. An array of K. And then we want to check the position of it and see. Godot vector 2I equals environment. Oops. Environment position. Goes environment position dictionary. I'll grab the position. And then check to see if environment dictionary. No, environment position is a tile position. That means we already have one, right? So just put a boolean on top and say found equals false, found equals true, and then we just break from here. We don't need to continue forward, and only add it if it's not found. And I'll keep that, that's not a problem. We'll just update the dictionary afterwards. Okay. So we'll test that and see if it actually works. And if it does, we'll clean it up, I guess. Either I'll do that in the stream or I'll do it off screen. I don't know, we'll see what we do. I gotta think about how I want to handle that. All right, so it's done. I wonder if it's that array that's making it lag. No way that's happening, right? There's a lot of trees. Did I click the right one? It could be because there was a lot of trees in there, so... Or let me see if I clicked on the right one. Yeah, I clicked on the right one. Interesting. Okay, so that's gonna make a lag. I didn't want to do that, but it's a thought. Where's that? I want to close it, end it. Task manager, por favor. Well, I'm gonna assume that that is the issue then. And then we can find a better approach over that. Okay, so I ended that. I terminated, neutralized the game. All right, so I'm gonna assume that this is the problem that the duplication is happening in. So let's remove this because this is the reason why there's so many trees in here that it's pretty slow right now. So we'll just revert that back. What we want to do, let's look at Scala draw real quick then, right? I want to picture this a little bit. Alright, so we have, delete that, delete this. So this is the main bigger grid, right? And the smaller grid is basically in here. Actually, that's pretty slow. Let me just do that instead. So we got these smaller grids inside, which is where the tree spawn. The tree spawns in this one, this one, this one, this one. But when the tile map, not tile map, when the bigger chunks are out of, it's outside, or how would I say, when the smaller chunks inside is outside of the chunks of here, I want to delete all the tree data, environmental data here, and I want to be able to calculate what is these positions so I can trigger the spatial chunks, so that I can delete those environment data, and then there shouldn't be any duplicate data in the future if I were to do that. So it has this for here. It also has it for the other ones in this area here, right? So there's smaller chunks in this area. So when this, let's say the player was going to the right and ended up triggering a new area of those chunks, this one's gonna get deleted, right? It's gonna get nuked because it's gonna transition to this side now. So what I want to do is be able to remove all of this stuff in here and be able to calculate that stuff. I do have points in each corner that I can get, and I know how much of these I need to go. So I think that's probably what I want to do. So let's try it on top real quick, where we're transitioning to each tile. So like I said, in this tile, if we transition to the left, then we're checking to see if the diff.x is less than 0. That means we're moving to the left, and it triggered a tile transition. And in here, we want to clear the chunk that's 2, 5, and 8. And if you were to label these, this one's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 2, 5, 8 is the one that we're clearing, which is what exactly this is happening here. These trees are actually, we're not doing anything with these trees anymore. That's how they used to be. Now that we transition it to be how it is now, I actually don't need these, but this is where I will need to clear out the chunks. So let's try with one first. So we got chunk 2. Oh, it's chunks. And in here we got a position. I don't remember if this position has the world position on it. I don't think so. Let's see, let's go into it real quick. We get the position, and it's just basically the position times the size. Which is size, I just put as 1 right now, and we want it in world size right now. Does it need to be in world size for me to calculate? In tile size, I mean, not world size. I think it does. Let's see, Godot vector 2I equals this. I mean, we're multiplying it by that. So can we just grab this world size? So this will get multiplied, right? Chunk world position. And grabbing that. Let's see how I want to handle this. We want to remove all the we want to remove here chunk 2, right? And in chunk 2 we also have those miniature chunks within it. And I want to nuke all of that. Nuke that, nuke that, nuke that, that, and that. So I know this position, which is the position that I just calculated it, so hopefully. So this position in the corner should be this chunk world position. And now I need to be able to transition to all of these in here. And then we can see Godot vector 2 spatial position equals the chunk world position divided by spatial chunk size. I think I have that. Spatial chunk size. Spatial chunk size should be 10 if I remember correctly, because I divide the world size by 2, and it's 30. Oh, so it's 15, by the way. No, mind not. Okay, so I got this first position, this spatial chunk. This spatial chunk should be the first one in that list, and this is the one that I want to nuke. I want to grab. I need to debug this and see if I'm calculating this correctly. But so this will be the top left. Let's do that. Top left spatial position, and I should be able to calculate what the other ones are. So let's try it out real quick. Let's delete all of this stuff that I did, and let's do some math in here so that I can see it. So we do that, we'll leave that there. I'll delete this stuff here so I can see it. Delete all of this stuff. Delete these. I'll delete that. Okay, so what I want to do, let's pretend we're at 0, 0, right? So let's do this position in here is going to be, let's do it blue actually. It's going to be 0 and 0 in this location here. This position in here where the blue dot is at, it's going to be 1 and 0. And then to get the point on top, well, it will be 1 and -1. Right? So I moved over to the next chunk, which is just by 1. If we were doing it in chunk coordinate system, we move the chunk by 1, so it will be this corner. And then we'll move the chunk up, and it will be -1. So it will be 1 and -1 on top. And what I did in here was multiply by the world size. Where did it go? I multiply by the world size, and the world size is 30. So we want to grab that 1 and -1 and multiply that by 30, which ends up being 30 and -30. Hold on, I'll zoom out right now. Yeah, I did not get -1. There we go. Okay. I got that backwards. So I did that. So now we have it in chunk world position, world chunks basically, in world space. So it's 30 and 30. And if I divide it by 15, do I want to divide it by 15, or do I keep it in world position? So this would be 30, 15. It can be 30 because then it'll be, it's 15, 30 plus 45. Yeah, because there are 15 tiles within here, so it'll be 0 here, 15, 30, or it'll be 45 here. Because there's 90 tiles within this bigger chunk, the white one. There's 90 by 90, so it should add up together. No, not 90 by 30 by 30, my bad. 30 by 30, the entire grid is 90 by 90. So it should be 0, 30, 60, and then 90 on this corner. If we were at 0, 0, that's what it would be. So it'll be -30, 0, and then 30, and it will be, yeah, so it should be fine then, because this one will be 60 in this corner, and then it will be, if each of these individual chunks are 15, then it starts at 0, 15, 30, and 45. 0, 15, 44. No, should that be it? 0, 15, 0, 15, and 30. There we go. Zero, 15, and 30, and then she'll add up to 45 in here. That math doesn't sound right to me. We're dividing 30 by 2, and those chunks is to 15. So this individual chunks in here are 15 tiles across. So 15 tiles here, 30, and then 15, 15 to 30, 30 to 45. Yeah, that doesn't add up to me. So if it's 30 on top, so let's do more math in here. There's 30 here. So if we replace this, can I? Oh, I can edit it in here. Sweet. So if we multiply these by 30, so it should be 30. So if I moved it over, this point here is 30 and negative 30, which is what we did in here. If we were doing a world size, a world position. So that means that this side and this corner, actually just keep it blue. This corner here should be 60 and negative 30. Right? So this should add up to 60 from 30. Actually, you know what? I think that's why I'm getting confused. Initially I had it by 3. I think they're by 2s now. That's what I'm getting confused on. Alright, let's delete it again. The 2x2 grid now, not these. So instead of doing that, it's actually just a 2x2 grid. In that case, that makes more sense. I was like, why doesn't it make sense? I started over when I did this, it started off being 3x3s, and then I switched it over to 2x2s. So this makes more sense then. Okay, that's why I'm dividing it by 2. Alright, so let's go back to what we were doing here. So this is 30. If I moved it over to 15 and divide that. Let's see. Let's get my thing here and just put it green. I'll be able to do it. So if I get that 30 and negative 30 the answer that we got on top of here, and divided by the spatial chunk size, which is 15, each individual ones. So this is going to be 2 and negative 2, and I should be able to calculate that this is 2 and negative 2 in here inside, and this should be 3, and the same thing will be here. It'll be 1 and 1. And then if I kept going lower, at this point it should be 2 and 0. Let's get this. Can I change the font size to be smaller? Sweet. So this 2 and negative 2 is the location of this smaller sizing, this smaller chunk sizing here. 2. Let's move that over. So this smaller section here is 2 and 2. This other one here, let's edit this. It's gonna be 2 and negative 1 because I'm going down and it's going to the positive area. And then if I were to put it down here, if I were to go to the chunk down below that one, can I edit it by double clicking on this? Yes, I can. Sweet. So this should be 2 and 0, right? So if I were to multiply this back to be in chunk world size on top, I will need to multiply 2 and 0. I just want to make sure the math is correct. 2 and 0, and I multiply that by 15 now, because initially we divided by 15. So if we want to revert it back, so this ends up being 30 and 0. And that should be correct because this is 0, 0 that we did earlier, right? So when we calculated this point here, is 0 and 0. And if I move 30 because their chunks are by 30, this point here should be 30 and 0, which is what we got in here. So that makes sense. Okay. Oof, math. Early morning with no food, with no brain food is a little bit difficult. Alright. Okay, so this transition is the way we were doing it here. So this makes sense that we were doing. Right? So we grab that spatial position on top. This chunk is 1 and -1. I multiply it by 30, which is the parameter that we pass in. Multiplies that by 30, we get 30 and -30. And then we divide it by the spatial chunk size, which is 15. We get this 2 and -2. And all I have to do now for that chunk to get the next chunk would be top right spatial position. It's just going to be Godot vector 2i. Oops. We grab this top left and just add 1 on the x, and we should get the next one. And just keep the y the same. And we want to do the same thing for the bottom right. I mean bottom left. But instead, what we're doing, we grab the top. We don't add 1 here, but we add 1 at the y instead. And then we grab the vector 2i bottom right spatial position vector 2 I. We got the bottom left position and we just add 1 on the x, and the y stays the same. Oops, what did I do? There it is. So we got dot x plus 1, and then the y stays the same. Cool. So now we have these 4, and I want to nuke those 4 points, those 4 chunks. So I want to be able to grab that and get environments and remove those. So we got this top left spatial position. First of all, we want to check to see if it exists though, just to be safe. Spatial chunks that has that top left position, my bad. If it does have it, you want to grab this. Godot dictionary spatial chunk. We got the spatial chunk, and what we want to do, I mean, I feel like it's fine if he keeps that, we just gotta nuke the environments. Godot dictionary, or you don't even have to do that. You just say, hey, environments. Environments, and you just, I forgot what type. Is it just a type? When I create these environments and push it, an array of this. There we go. We just want to clear that out. Just keep it as empty, and then we set it back to spatial chunk. And we want to do this for all the 4. I definitely got to create a function for this, so I don't have to do this all the time. Because one, this is doing it for this chunk that too, but I got to do the same thing for 5 and 8. So that's a lot of that's a lot of stuff in here. Hold on, let me Make sure I actually set this correctly. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. You gotta be careful when you do copy and paste because sometimes you forget. At least I do. Be safe. Up, top left. Wait, it's not top left, isn't it? Oh, whoops! It's bottom right. Bottom right, bottom left. And that seems right. Bottom right, bottom right. Top right. Okay. Let's write a function here that will do it for me. I don't have to do this every single time. Alright, so let's create a function here. We're putting this as a private function. Where would I put it? I'll probably put it down here, I guess. Void clear environment data at spatial chunk position. And just pass in a Godot vector 2 I spatial position. Cool, let's copy this entire thing. And we'll put it in here. Create. I need that spatial chunk, huh? Where did it go? I need this chunk world. And also, you know what? I need the not just that at spatial chunk position. Hold on. Yeah, I don't need the chunk world position. I don't need the spatial chunk. Hold on. Chunk world position. So I'll name it that, and I just copy this entire thing. That. Let's go down here. Cool. But I don't need this anymore because I already calculated it. So all I have to do is rename that to be this and do that, and everything else should fall in line. And let's go back on top again. Let's delete this entire thing since we're already doing it. So chunk world position. And we can do the same thing. Let's do the same thing for the others. Let's put that together. So it is together, I guess. Alright. We're nuking these. Core position at 258. So we do the 5 and then 8. Cool. Now we just copy this, and we're gonna do it for the left side. We gotta do it for the right side. We're not doing this anymore. So what we're doing, it's gonna be chunks to update is 258, so it has to be the 036. Actually, we don't even need to call this anymore either. So let's clear that out. So that's how we were doing it before. Let's just, you could probably put it in here too, huh? Clear grid, clear all cells for grids. Actually, that would be nicer. Where is this being called? How many times is it just being called in here? Yeah. You know what? Let's put it in there. I don't have to like copy it everywhere here. Okay, so after it does all of that stuff, we got ID of 0. Oops. ID 0. ID of 1. And ID of 2. Cool. So that's the only place I need to add it to. So clear there. All these trees, I don't need it anymore either. So let's do some cleanup here too. Okay, so the left side's done. Clear all of that stuff. I don't need to do this here anymore because I already am doing it inside of here. Let's delete all of this stuff here we don't need. So 3, 7, 5. Okay, so we did the right side. I don't need any of these trees stuff in here. Because that's how we were doing it before. Okay. And let's delete these things here because I don't need to do that either. Alright. I think that should be it. The only thing I'm kind of unsure about is... I mean, I actually had the spatial positioning on top here already. I'm just worried about the position that I set in here. I don't know if it's already in world position. I have a local position here, right? For those tiles, I have a local position, which tells me what direction it is. And it all ends up being the same. And then again, I also have position on these. And where do I initialize that? I just need to know if it's in world position or if it's in... if it's in a chunk coordinate system position. Go through all the tile layers. I don't set the positions anywhere. Oh, there we go. Ah, so it's already world size. Okay, great. That is great, actually. Okay, so the position is in world position, so I don't need to pass in that. Let's fix that then. Let's go back in here. We can actually just use this since we're already doing it on top. We don't need to actually grab it at all because we already know it. Glad I checked that up because otherwise that would have sucked. Probably say world position here. So we got that position. We again got this position. And we got this position. We all cells for grid, so it's looping through all the world positions. Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. Alright, anyway. Let's build this and see if it ends up working. Fingers crossed, but usually first things never work every time, so. Alright. Let me in on this hydrate. Let me hydrate. All right, let's run it, shall we? Let's run it. All right, so let's chop down this tree. Oops. Tree is chop down this one. All right, so just do this one too. Hey, chop it, please. Why don't you want to chop that tree? I gotta figure out some finer tuning on these things. I want to know why I'm not able to chop down this tree. I can do it from the top though. Okay. Anyway, so I just want to chop those three just to, you know, see what's up. Go back out again. And it should remember when this bigger chunk of grass and everything in the back should disappear. And then we can try. It should be around here. Bam. Gone. Let's come back. And be able to see if we just double trees in here in a moment of truth. Oh, but it still don't disappear though. It's only one of them though, which is great. I think that worked. Yeah, it's only one of them in there. It's just they don't disappear anymore after. This one does. Great, that works. I'm too zoomed in. Hold on. I'm way too zoomed in on this. Yeah, there's some instances where it won't disappear anymore, but at least there's no more duplicates, which is great. If this one's duplicated anymore. I think what I gotta do is increase the size of the trigger. Other than that, that's one. Yeah, so there's a couple in here that don't want to get removed. Actually, you know what? Let's try it out. Let's debug that. But cool, that is fixed already. Sweet. Things never work out the first time usually, but it ended up working this time. Let's go into my game manager. Let's go to the axe action and see what's up. Why is this not getting... It's gone. No, not gone. So I want to attach process to it. Select window. Attach it. Let's see what's happening. What's happening in here? Okay, so we got it here. We hit it. All right. We got one hit on it, which is weird because it shouldn't be one hit. I mean, this is technically the second hit then, right? So it goes through here. It's not greater than 3. So then it goes into here, which is not an environmental grass at all. It should be tree. It usually never lets me do that, so whatever. So we got 2. And passes it in here. So pause key, it's -1 and -1. Yeah. But this one says coordinate on -1 and 0. Okay, so that was the coordinate of this tree. And let's keep running it. Smack it again. And if this got it correctly, then it should be 3 now. Okay. So if it is 3, and one in here, what is my stage right now? Oh, it's -3 already. Somehow it didn't get deleted. Okay. Oh, so this is where I was talking about. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. But there's environment. I may need to replace the object again. I think that's the problem. But this object is wrong. Because we despawned it. And when I spawned it back, it could have been a different object and not the same one. So what is trying to despawn is an object that probably is already despawned from my pool. And when I went off screen with it and it came back, it could have grabbed another tree from the pool that was different from this object. And that is what's happening here. But the one that's coming from action, it should be the correct one. So all I need to do is just update it. So in here, I should be updating the object that's coming from my tree. Hold on, let me see what I want to do. So let me see, Godot node pointer object hits. We'll call it, let's name it as a null for now. If object, not object, the one in environment. Forgive me, the rooster in the back is going crazy today. Going ham right now. Trying to wake everybody up right now. I apologize if you hear that. What was the object, right? Object if it has it, actually, not this. Because I could be hitting a tile map and it's different. So let's so if it has this object hit, we'll just, you know, cast it to be that. Godot node. And we'll pass in that environment node in here. I want to play Super Mario 64. So it's making me nostalgia reasons. Alright, anyway, so we got this. So we grab not the environment one, but we want to grab it from here instead. Because we only get it once. And if it is empty, that means it never hit it and never updated the object. So what we want to do is use the one that is coming from the action class that being passed in here, because it always gets me the right one. And I want to get the updated one, so that comes from this dictionary here. So with that, so when it comes to stage here, sort of doing this tree node here. Is it 2D? Does it have to be 2D? Yes, it does. Okay, so let's cast it to a 2D then. To a 2D pointer. No 2D. Alright. We got this object hit, and when it comes in here, we don't even need to. Let's see. What am I doing here? Here. So we don't really need to do this anymore. And all I need to do is just pass this object hit. Yeah, I can move that in here, but maybe in the future I will end up needing it. I might as well just leave it out. And then in this case, I don't really need to do this either. I'm trying to update it. Oh yeah, here, I'm doing the same thing here. Hold on. Let's get this object hit. I got this tree. We're gonna despawn it, right? What did I remove? Okay. So that's if it's... Look at the stage. Wait, hold on. Hold on 1 minute. So I hit it 3 times already, and I deduct the stage, but it's still not less than 0. So I'm grabbing this next ID. Oh, I'm spawning it in here. Yeah, I don't really care. This is what I need to do. I was like, what happened to the spawn one? Okay, so do I need world position? I do. I can use that instead. Delete this. Okay. There we go. So we got the position, remove it, and respawn it back to the original position, so that should work. Cool. So let's test this out. And hopefully this is it with the trees. I mean, there's still some minor tweaks I need to do. Sometimes when I'm trying to chop it down, it doesn't always trigger it. But with the updated way that I'm doing the trees, it is back to normal if this ends up working. At least for the majority of the part. Build it again, because my game was still running. I gotta figure out where I put these logs at. I don't remember where I put these. But you know why? I think I know where. I was testing. Where did that function go to? A star character. Or Eden tile map actually. There's a function that I'm doing. I thought I was doing it here. I guess never mind. Or at least it could be my C++ code actually. Yeah, I'm not passing it here anymore. Is it in character 2D? Yeah, I know. I'll just leave those logs. I'll figure it out later. Alright, let's run it and see if it's working. I hear like clicking sounds in the back, and I think it's my little Pokemon going on in here. I'm doing some stuff. Alright. Let's see if we get anything that we're not able to. Seeing if the tree trunks disappear this time. Let's smack these 3 again. I wish it would just work sometimes. I think it'll work if I did it on top. There you go. Alright. So let's zoom out real quick and see once I go to the next tile chunk here. So let's run to the left. Run, 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 run. And then it should disappear right here. Alright, let's go back. Let's see if I can smack it this time. And have it disappear this time. For sure. Gone. Gone. And this one has to be from the top. Whatever reason. Gone. Let's go. So far so good. Oops. Let's go. Alright then guys, we got this working. Let's go. Whew. That was hectic right there. These are back to normal, besides this clicking thing that I gotta figure out. May need to either expand the trigger volume or something's happening there, but besides that, things are looking good right now. before I celebrate, I want to chop down some of these trees. Chopping trees. Chopping away. Yeah. All right. So all of this stuff here should be gone. So let's, just double check. All these trees that were in here are completely gone for sure. Do one more. Okay, they're gone. All right, so far so good. No trees. Let's go. Look at that. Woo! All right. Excited now. Excited at most of this stuff. I mean, there's still some things. So let's go back. And let's talk about some stuff that I'm seeing right now. So let's run in here. I'm not going to zoom out. And let's go in here. So you can see there was no chugginess or anything happening yet. I got you wrong pretty far. There are no chugginess happening as I'm transitioning here. Let's go back. There was a little bit in here. I actually saw it. There was a tiny one when I transitioned to the right here. You see that? But it doesn't happen all the time. But I think it just depends. So if I were to zoom out in this area here, I'm assuming that's most likely has to do with how many trees I'm spawning. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there isn't a lot of trees here, so why was this chugginess happening here? Is it because I'm despawning all of them? That's very interesting. Because the only trees I'm spawning is just these couple that are in here. And I'm despawning a lot of them in here. I think that's probably the reason of the despawn. Man, those colliders are crazy though. But hey, as you notice that there wasn't that much lagginess or like whatever freeze points when it comes to changing those chunks. And before we were having it all the time. So we're one step closer. So the problem right now has to do with despawning these trees. How am I despawning the, let me see. And delay enable collision on spawn and despawn. What I can do is I can add a timer like I'm doing with the on spawn and spread out these collisions. Let's do that. And so when they despawn, oops, yeah, that's fine. I don't need the bottom one at all. We call this true. Actually, can we pass in a parameter? What are these flags for? Huh. I was thinking it's creating this one function passing as a parameter there, but I don't know how that works. But anyways, we have this on these ones. Do that, and then we'll do that. Let's spread out that disabled function to be a little bit more spread out. And since it's happening like in the outer bounds of the chunks where the player is not going to be nearby, shouldn't be a problem. So waiting at least 5 seconds for it to disable those collisions. Everybody will have different amounts, so it will despawn at different times. Hopefully that would spread out the collision updates there. Now let's see if it helps it out a little bit. So let's go to the right. I mean to the left. I forgot where exactly it was on. I think I kept going in this direction until I stopped and didn't let me with this tree right here. And then I went back. Let's see. I think it was after this tree right here that was getting triggered at. It's still happening. I wonder if I can spread it out a little bit more then. Yeah, it's still happening. Let's do 15, so it's a bigger spread. And honestly, I could probably do the same thing here. If it becomes a problem. Spawning it, I haven't seen a problem with it yet. Maybe despawning it can be a problem. So you get tree spawner, you get on timeout, and we passing this to then disable those collisions for those two. I wonder what Godot is doing in the backend for that to happen though, because in Unity you don't have a problem with that. At least nothing that I've seen. I'm able to disable and enable collisions, no problem. Alright, so let's run. I think it was after this tree, right? So we'll come here, come back. Yeah, it's still happening though. You know what I can do just to double check that that is the problem and not just something else, is to comment that off so the collisions will always be active at all times. And let's see if this ends up being the problem or not. Hopefully it doesn't trigger anything else though, because I did that. Okay. No, it's still happening, so it's not that then. I thought it would be, because if I were to zoom out, we got all these trees that are here, right? And then despawns. But you notice there's not a lot of trees spawning on this side. So that's why I thought it had to do with this one here. But it's something to dig in further and figure out if that is the problem or what exactly I want need to do there. But I'll probably do that off screen. I got time to work on it today after this stream and see what I can do when it comes to that. But anyways, we'll leave it like that for that part. The next thing is to bring back the other stuff that I have, you know, because you know, as you can see, you don't see the rocks anymore, you don't see none of that, and let's see if those have any issues with them when bringing them back. It shouldn't though. Where is this thing? Here. Let's bring the rocks back. Tile map. And let's go back to where I was doing all that stuff at. Just here. So there is no trees happening here. We were doing it else. And basically we want to do this part here, else here. And what I'm doing here is checking to see if the tile is just complete grass, right? That's what that if statement is doing. And I just copy whatever is in here. I should be able to delete this afterwards. Was I doing anything else? Cool. So I just copy that and it should be back to normal. Let me see if the rocks come back. And if so, it will bring back the village and my farm. I mean, it might be back to almost normal, I guess. Done building. Let's go. Let's check and see if my rocks are back. Oops, I got the wrong one. Wrong one. Sorry. Wrong one. Wrong load file. The other ones, the first two don't work. Ever since I did the avatar stuff. So these two on top doesn't work anymore. I gotta make it work though. Cool. So now we have. Ooh, what happened here? I lied. It crashed on me. Let's find out why. It didn't call and turn on somebody. Process on outline node. Interesting. Okay, so it doesn't have this call then? If outline is visible, it shouldn't be an error on this one. It just doesn't know what this is. Oh, it is null. So why does it let me? Interesting. I never had issues with this ever, and I can see why. There's a null part here, but I never had this issue before. I've been having this outline for a long time, and for whatever reason it decided to crash right now. It's been here for months. That's crazy. Alright, whatever. Let's do a null check there then. What is this doing? Okay. So let's make sure we do a null check here. That is very strange and weird that is happening. And why did it only trigger right now? That's a big question. Alrighty. That's. Oh, that did not build. There we go. Alright, so let's run in. Let's see. It shouldn't happen. This is another crash somewhere else. Is there a crash this time? Oh, so now the outlines don't work. So weird. I gotta figure out what's happening here, but that's another bug for later. Cool. So now you can see you got other stuff. We got flowers now. We got rocks. So all that stuff is back to normal. Let's see. Does it trigger anything different? Huge lag spikes or anything? But honestly, before we would have gotten a lag spike by now. So we did some improvements to this, which is great. It's just happening in certain areas. I think it just comes to tweaking the trees and how many I want to spawn. I think that's something that I gotta figure out on my own and just tweak it and messing around with it. Maybe I can do a stream with it where we're just messing around with it to see to a point where it feels all right. I don't know if I want to do a live stream of that, but yeah. So it's only happening there. But other than that, I think we're in a good spot there. Let's bring back. Look at how many rocks are right here. You actually don't notice it because of the trees. But now that the trees are not spawned yet, you actually can see all the rocks, all the other stuff in here. Cool. Yeah, there was another lag spike here, which kind of sucks, but no biggie though. Oh yeah, I'll need to figure out what else is happening with these trees that is making this happen, but I'll probably look at it today, later on today, and see what's up with that. Cool. So let's bring back the village. Let's see if there's anything special that we need to do for those though. What did I do to make them not despawn anymore? I forgot what I did. I think I need to comment those guys off, I think. Let's find out. Because populate, which then populates my entire grid and blah blah blah. Yeah, so I comment all this stuff out. Let's bring those back. I'm not doing clips yet. That's another performance thing that I need to look into and figure out what kind of clips I want to use for my thing, because this set cells train connect is kind of not great. So that's the second part of the performance I was dealing with earlier. The first part ended up taking me a little longer than I wanted it to, but it's a little bit better, or I mean a lot better actually. There's certain sections that are still kind of happening. I'm good with that for the time being. We got these store prefabs. Okay. I think I was. Oh yeah, there we go. So, all right. So this should be back. The only thing I would like to look into is these guys have trees here too. And actually, you know what? They don't have trees spawning here. So how do I determine if it's so the layer ID is a ground environment. How do I tell it from? How do I tell if it's should be something from tile map or if it's a tree? How do I differentiate that? Excuse me. I mean, if I were to bring this back, why do I determine what is what? Let's say it doesn't have it doesn't have safe data. How does that make sense? If it has safe environments, environment position data, where we were using before, but what if I never hit it? How is this working then? I think I automatically update it. Let's see. So I looked at all this stuff. trying to figure out how am I gonna determine what is a tree and what not. The second part is figuring out why. How does this work? Environmental. Oh, I see. It's doing all this stuff in the bottom. Okay. Well, how do I determine if this is a tree or not? There has to be a way to determine if this area has trees or not. Yeah, let's bring this back for the time being. Let's figure it out. So I have this. So the only thing I'm confused on is how am I setting the set cell for, I guess, if it's environment, if it has something, I guess it sets it here. Okay, I see. And then after that, I grab it again to see if it's a tree, but my trees don't come from tile map layers anymore. So I can check to see if it's an environment node. I can cheat it for now, or hack it or whatever. Because the only one that doesn't have environment tile map nodes or whatever is for trees, since they're actual node to these now instead of being from the tile map. And I can check to see if the layer ID is an environment. Problem is going to be here because it has What I can do is I can just spawn it for now. I can ignore this. No, I do need this part. The problem that I see here, yeah, that will still work actually. So I can come back here if this tile data is null, or I check to see if it's a tree, which is what this is kind of basically doing. I can remove it from this tile map and spawn my tree here instead. Or let's see what I can do. Or what I can do instead, just to for the sake of making it work, I just copy this stuff here that I'm creating environment data for. Oh, no, it should still kind of work. And I feel like it's gonna get erased when the village scene or my farm scene gets out of bounds, and it's gonna get cleared off here anyway. So for now, I gotta think about this a little bit more. How I want to handle that part. How do I want to handle that part? This is spawning my scene, so the spawning the village, and this village coming from another scene that has a tile map. So basically, that's what all this data, grabbing all that data from the tile map. Do I have access to? Let's see. You got. What I can do is I can just spawn it, because my village and farm scenes are always active at all times. I don't need to create environment data for them at all. So let's go in here for now. Oops. Let's do this for now. And what we can do is that we can just set this position, cell position, and just that. This will clear out my tile map for the tree, and then just spawn the tree here. And we'll always have it active at all times. So we need a world position, an ID, and a scene path. So if it went all the way down here, I don't like to. Because the tree would have gone here and do the same thing, right? Godot vector 2 world position, and basically it's just the cell position times the tile map tile size. That gives me the world position, and then I just need the ID and the scene path for that. ID and scene path. So the ID, how do I grab this ID? Let's look at the tile map data. Maybe it's something I can use to determine what tree to spawn. Go back to player level, and let's look at the data that I have here for the trees. Let's select, let's go to tile set, select. We got custom data. Either I add more to it. It's telling me if it's an environment. It also tells me if it's a tree. I can check for that too. It tells me what stage it is in, which is great. But it doesn't tell me what ID it is. I can, maybe I can replace the next stage atlas with something else. No, I need it for the rocks though. I mean, I can add. I just feel like I have so many custom data already. There's some here that I can probably delete, like maybe tilde. Can be transparent, maybe. Yeah, I can definitely remove can be transparent for sure, because I don't need that anymore. This is not going to work in tile maps anymore. And that's the main reason why I was moving away. One of the reasons I was moving the trees from being in the tile into being in a Godot node 2D instead. Yeah, let's replace this one then, since we don't even need it. And we're gonna use it as an ID that I can use to determine what trees to spawn. Because the next stage atlas won't work for me. I mean, I can find out if this equals this, then I can then check to say this is this ID. I think for now that's what I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna replace this, and then I'll think about a better way of doing that. Let's see. Where is this custom data at? Here it is. So let's find that one specifically. We'll name it object ID instead, and instead of a bool will be an int. And the main reason I don't like that is that because that ID is tied to this right here, right? If I were to add another one at the beginning, I'm gonna have to come back and replace those values again later, and that is not great. But yeah, I just gotta think of a better way, a solution for that for later down the line. So we got an object int for that. So for this big tree here that I have, it's gonna be 0, 1, 2. So the ID for this is gonna be 2. The ID for the other one, for the small tree, is 3. Small tree trunk is 0 and big tree trunk is 1. So big one is 1 and this one is 0. Okay. For the time being, that will work. So how much was the big tree? It was 2, right? So leave that as 2. 2. For now. And the small one was 3. I don't think I need to do it in here, but I just, you know, it's gonna be play it safe for now. Okay, so this bigger tree trunks are 1. All right, we'll do that. Let's copy this. Let's make sure we're not calling it elsewhere anyways. Alright, let's go back to my chunk tile map. I know before we're doing this, hey, it's a transparent, but we don't need that anymore. What we're gonna do is it can be called object ID, and we'll just call it object ID instead. So if it has an object ID, where's the boolean eyes, huh? You know what? Let's do a tree. Do I have access to that? Yeah, there we go. It's tree. Let's do tree. And if so, we then can grab the ID for that. Int ID. And it's going to be object ID here. Past that. Oh, it's just ID here. And since I know that now, I can get the Godot dictionary tree data, which I get it from Game Manager now. Get environment data index, which is ID. Why is there double parentheses in here? Hold on. There we go. So in tree data, I just get the current scene here. Current scene path. If I remember correctly. Current scene path. There we go. So that will spawn the tree. So we'll despawn the tile map tree since we don't use tile map trees anymore. And we'll spawn the actual Godot tree node here. The only other problem that I have will be this one on top. It just does this, the save data that we're doing before. So if it tracks something and it's greater, it's gonna set that stage to be here. Oh. The problem is that this doesn't have a current stage atlas anymore or tree, so I don't need to figure out a way to track that. So yeah, this will crash, not crash, but maybe give me an error, maybe. Well, we'll see how it looks like right now and see if that works, and then we'll figure out this part later. Yeah, we'll figure that other part later. Let's make sure this first part that I just did right now down below works. Alright, so let's build this bad boy. Okay, so there's some areas that we're still doing this. We're not doing transparent tiles anymore. I can delete this. We'll keep it here for now, but we're not doing transparent tiles anymore. Unless there'll not be no more. Alright, so I should have just been there then, I guess. What is this red thing here? Let's close that. Are these errors? No. Okay. No, let's build it again. All right. Let's make this smaller. Put this out here. Let's run it, shall we? I'm just checking this one last chicken. Doing this last check. Let's see. My villages are back normal. Woo! Alright, so my village is back here again. Let's spawn the trees. Let's zoom out real quick. Sweet. So you can see my two villages on top with all the trees and everything on it, which is great. Cool. Yeah, I gotta figure out this outline thing. For some reason it's not working anymore. But yeah, that's basically it for today, guys. It's been 2 hours already. It's crazy. Time flies. But we ended up fixing the trees. There's still some minor bugs in it, but for the majority of the part, I do like the way that this happened. Majority of that lag spike that we were having before is not happening as much anymore, which is great. There's just certain sections that it does, but I'm not too crazy about it right now. I will look into figuring out what exactly is causing it, if it's the collision still, or I don't know. I'll have to dig into that a little bit more. Maybe I can do some of that later. But other than that, yeah, I got my rocks back. All the flowers, village scenes are back. I just got to figure out that when I'm grabbing it from the save data to make sure I'm spawning it correctly. And I would like to make these two scenes be on a separate tile map instead of being on the main one, because the main one uses the A-star grid. And if I were to move out very far away, let's say this is my currency, if I were to move out all the way up here, these two village scenes are still here, so that's a big wreck, right? Big wreck for that tile map and for the A-star. And I don't not that there's anything here, you know, or any data in here anyway, but I don't really like it for it to be that huge, so I'm gonna probably separate these two to be separate. Yeah, I think that'll probably be the best way to go for that. But yeah, so I'll be working on that off screen. I got some time today that I can continue working on this, but that's basically it, guys. Thank you guys for being here. If you're watching this in the future, if you're in this live stream, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys being here, and we'll continue next time. We did some good stuff here today, and we'll do more stuff in the future, guys. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day, guys, or a wonderful night, depending on your time, and I'll talk to you guys later. Any else?